Today on the Caucus, Megan Liberman and Michael Cooper on the political landscape with economic unease and high disapproval of Congress. Also, Manny Fernandez reports from Texas on a prayer event being headlined by possible presidential candidate Rick Perry.
What I want the American people and our partners around the world to know is this. We are going to get through this. Things will get better, and we're going to get there together.
So, Michael, the stock market took a nosedive yesterday, and as our colleague Mike Shear points out this morning, that's really been the one positive economic indicator the president's had to point to amid a lot of bad economic numbers since he's been in office, and that took a big hit yesterday.
Right. I mean, the stock market lost 500 points. It's down almost a little more than 10% in 2 weeks. You know, the stock market is still higher than it was when President Obama took office, but a lot of people are feeling it. A lot of 401ks are down today, and people are going to be upset about it.
We also had some job numbers today, which were slightly better than expected, but still really weak.
I mean, the unemployment rate ticked down to 9.1%, but 9.1% all these months in is still an astonishingly
very
high number of
right.
unemployed people in this country.
Yeah, and we have a new poll which actually shows that Americans really want people in government to stop talking about cutting and start focusing on jobs.
Right, it was an interesting poll. We took it in the wake of the whole debt ceiling debate,
right.
which was all about how much should we be cutting.
Right.
And the poll had some slightly contradictory conclusions.
Right.
I think there's a sense among people that even though there's a long-term deficit problem,
that's not the problem they want to focus on right now.
There's a short-term jobs crisis.
Right, so. And they weren't exactly thrilled with where the president was on it, but they're a lot happier with where he was than where the Congress was, and particularly congressional Republicans.
Right. It was sort of astonishing. I mean, this poll found an 82% disapproval of Congress, which is the highest we've ever had since the Times has been asking the question since 1977. It's higher than it was after the government shutdown. It's higher than it was after the impeachment of Bill Clinton.
Right.
People were really mad. And when you broke it down further, it was Republicans who took most of their ire. I mean, 72% disapproved of the way House Republicans handled this. They weren't crazy about House Democrats. 66% didn't like them, but they were a lot more positive about the president. I mean, I think only 47% disapproved of the way he handled it.
It was pretty equal.
Yeah,
split,
just about
right?
evenly split.
And the public also does seem to endorse sort of more the approach to the budget going forward that the president's been endorsing, which is a sort of balanced approach, which includes tax hikes on wealthy people especially.
Right. I mean, half of the people we polled said that this past debt ceiling deal should have included some revenue increases, which the Republicans blocked. And then going forward, a majority of every party, Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, all said that they should raise taxes on households making more than $250,000 a year, which the president has been trying to do, and he's been stymied by Congress.
Right. So that is something for him to campaign on. But and his picture doesn't look as bad compared to congressional Republicans, but they're not who he's running against. He's got to run against people who are running from outside in the Republican Party. And if the economy is still where it is now, in 12 months, he's got problems.
Right. I mean, there's only so much a president can do about the economy. I mean, and his hands are particularly tied now. Even if he wants to push for another stimulus package, he'll have a very hard time selling this Congress on it. So, if the economy looks like this, any incumbent would have a hard time running for re-election.
Potential presidential candidate Rick Perry is headlining what is likely to be a closely watched event this weekend.
Governor Perry of Texas announced in June that he was going to invite governors from around the country and people from around the country to join him in a day of prayer and fasting at Reliant Stadium in Houston. It's been a pretty controversial event. There's been the usual outrage from the usual quarters, but also the criticism lately has been a little bit more widespread. There are a number of Methodist pastors and leaders who have criticized the governor for this event. They don't feel that this is in the best traditions of the Methodist faith. It's a very unusual event, and the governor has sort of almost said as much. You have the governor of the second largest state in the country promoting a Christian-centered event. Having said that, there are many people in Texas who don't see the big deal. A lot of people in Texas equate this event with the national prayer breakfast that happens in Washington every year. Governor Perry has been sort of adamant that the timing of this event and the timing of him considering running for president is completely coincidental. This event sets him on a national stage sort of unlike anything he's been on before. It will be attended by supporters and detractors and numerous reporters. Rick Perry and his faith and his political ambitions will be under a microscope on Saturday, unlike any he's ever been under.